Hey everyone, welcome back into Sunrise to celebrate a New Orleans author, poet, comedian, and political satirist. Chris Champagne is right here in studio this morning. Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you have a lot of titles, and I love that for you. And I think with us talking about this, you have even brought us something you've written. So this is the Secret Louisiana,
Yes.
An Unusual Guide.
Secret Louisiana.
So talk to me about this for our viewers who may be interested.
Well, it's published by Jean-Les Editions of Versailles, France, and they have a model where they do secret cities. They do Secret Rome, Secret Paris. I did Secret New Orleans for them in 2017, and I talked them into doing a state for the first time.
Okay.
So this is Secret Louisiana, so this is the first time they've actually done a state. I don't know whether they'll do it again, because it took me a while to do it.
I was about to say, I feel like with a state, there's so much.
Yes, and I drove over 14,000 miles in a car that had 250,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And it was fun, mostly. You know, I'm kind of glad it's over now, but...
Did you learn
yeah.
from this as well? Because you are from New Orleans, like
Yes.
we said.
Well, I learned a lot about the history of Louisiana and how rich it is, really. And I think Mr. Jean-Les did a good thing by doing Louisiana first, because the book is published in French as well. And so there's a lot of French connection there. But also other nationalities like Hungary. I found things about Hungarians in the area, Czechs, Austrians, and different ethnic groups that contribute to the history of Louisiana. And I think that Mississippi is actually I'm thinking about maybe doing a secret of Mississippi as well. But and I know it has a history. Mississippi has a history that's kind of unknown, I think, to the outside world, and Louisiana does as well. And it was fun. I ended up running around with a bunch of my friends from high school who are now all retired, so we got to take some road trips.
Hey, that's always a good thing.
It is, yeah. I ended up having one of the things about the book is that it has a lot of photos, which are really integral to the design of the book. So I had to constantly go back and get better photos for my publisher, who was 8,000 miles away or whatever he is. And so I got to visit a couple of these places many times.
Yes. Now, whenever you were doing, I guess, your research for the book, like, where do you start? Like, are we going to museums or to really get the history?
Well, now you start, excuse me, you start on the internet.
Oh, all right. Did not expect that one.
Yeah, and you kind of have to have a sense of it. You have to kind of get into the groove where one thing leads to another.
Yes, okay.
And like a couple of times, I just kind of ran into stuff by happenstance. Like one time, I took a wrong turn in Baton Rouge, and then I looked at this house, and I went, "What is this?" So I went back, and there were some people working on the house, so I started taking photos. So then they wanted to know what I was doing, and it turned out that it was the gentleman that owned the house.
Wow, okay.
So he took me on a tour of the place, and then and through friends. I mean, I had a couple of friends who kind of knew I was doing this, and they found a couple of things and sent me on their way. But the internet, old books, old magazines, old newspapers, and you just have to.
You even said you have a picture that you showed me with your dad's name on there.
Yes, that was that's. People ask me what are my favorite things, and that's kind of one of my favorite things, because a friend of mine got a job at LSU, and he works in a maintenance barn, and there was a big board in there that's been there for years. And it was for the 1946 Vanderbilt LSU football game. And my dad was the All-American at LSU. And
was on the board.
His name is on the board next to Y.E. Tittles.
Well, if you want to hear more from Mr. Chris, you can see the flyer right there. He will be in town at 7 at Bushy's Clubhouse on Military Road. And you can learn more and talk with him. Well, thank you, Mr. Chris, for coming in so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. My pleasure.